So Chris, I'm going to rely on you to let me know if there's people online. Right, welcome. Yeah, you can move my stuff around if you would rather. All right, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome.
I just sent it.
So welcome to the December 15th. Everyone be quiet. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Welcome to the December 15th, 2025 RTM meeting. I will call the meeting to order at 8:03 p.m. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Peter Britton.
Here.
Doug Niffen. Melissa Longo.
Here.
Brooks Baracino. Scott Bissing.
Here.
Tara Cook-Littman. Craig Diamond. Gil Larson. Ashby Dodge.
Here.
Ann Fiffick. Mike Hardigan. Cindy Waldron. Jen Hawhuth. Laura Carson. Michelle McCabe. Liz Esma. Betsy Elrick. Josh Garskoff.
Here.
Sharon Pastilli. Jay Wolk. Emma Barron. Rob Blanchard. Eric Juniak. Tracy Rodriguez. Steve Barretts. Lori Galdenzi.
Here.
John Kuhn. Scott Nickel. Lenny Brayman. Chris Carroll. Rich Jacobs.
Here.
Eileen O'Reilly. Drew Georgiadis. Lisa Havey. Amanda Morgan. Karen Wackerman.
Here.
Matt Ambrose. Justin Contrado.
Sorry, I'm here. Matt Ambrose.
Justin Contrado. Margaret Horton.
Here.
Pierre Ratsky.
All right. Will you all please rise for the pledge? And I know that a lot of people are feeling very weary after a weekend filled with news of violence. So I just ask for people to remain standing for a moment of silence after to remember all victims and their families. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic, one nation, under God. Thank you. Since this is our first official voting meeting under our new rules to regulate, I just want to remind any members attending virtually to please keep your camera on. Obviously, if you need to take a break, that's fine. You won't be counted towards a quorum or be permitted to vote with your camera off. And also a reminder that when it comes to discussions per our new rules, we will be taking comments and questions first from members attending in person before we go to those from members attending remotely. So item number 2 on our agenda is to consider and act upon the minutes of the annual organizational meeting held on November 24th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve? Representative Nickel, seconded by Representative Blanchard. Any discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, any comments from the public on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? All right, that motion carries. Item number 3 on our agenda was to hear a report from the Joint Retirement Investment Board. We heard this at our informational meeting last week. Item number 4, Representative Pastilli. Go ahead.
Sharon Pastilli, District 5. Madam Moderator, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 4.
Oh, yes. Yes, go ahead. Is there a motion to second item number 4? Representative Zezima,
And then also I'd like
go
to
ahead.
make a motion to combine items 4 through 9.
Okay, so there's a motion on the table. Is there a second? Representative Zezima. So a motion on the table to combine items 4 through 9. Any discussion on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions. Okay, that motion carries. Go ahead, Representative Pistilli.
Madam Moderator, I'd also like to make a motion to waive the reading of items 4 through 9.
Love that idea. Is there a second for that? Representative Havey. And any discussion? All right, all those in favor of waiving the reading?
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions. Okay, so we are now on the table is a motion to approve items 4 through 9. As a reminder, these are appointments and reappointments to FairTV Commission, Historic District Commission, Employees Retirement Board, Harbor Management Commission. All those in favor, or I'm sorry, any discussion? There is a motion. Any discussion? Sorry. All those in favor? Signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. All right, so items number 4 through 9 carry. There was a motion, Representative Pistilli, and seconded, I believe, by Representative Blanchard, before Representative Pistilli made the motions to combine items and waive the reading. I did ask the public. Thank you. Hopefully we got all that. Okay, here we go. We're moving along, guys. Item number 10, to hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Board of Finance. Resolved that the bond resolution entitled, "A Resolution Appropriating $2,300,000 for costs associated with the Fairfield Ward High School Artificial Turf Project and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation be and hereby is approved." Do I have a motion to approve? Representative Cook-Littman, and a second. Representative Carson. Okay. Is there any discussion on this item? Representative Hardigan.
Are we pushing the button?
As long as the green light is on, you're good.
There we go. Mike Hardigan, District 3. I'm going to be voting in favor of this. All of the feedback I got from my friends within the community was very positive. I think a lot of people are very enthusiastic about this. I have 5 kids in the Fairfield school system, all of whom are going through Ward. My daughter's on the cheer team this year, so this was the first year that I attended every one of Ward's football games, and I feel like this is the upgrade that that field needs, and full support. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Hardigan. Additional questions or discussion? Representative Carroll.
Chris Carroll, District 8. Thank you. Through you, Madam Moderator, I have a few comments that I'd like to make. First, for those who sent us letters, both for and against, I appreciate the thoughtfulness of it.
I think you might need to speak more into the mic.
Pardon me?
I think you need to speak more into the mic.
I never get told to speak up. I'm usually told to quiet it down. But I think it's important that we listen to what our constituents have to say. But I also believe it's important for us to do our homework. And I believe that we need to use data, we need to follow the science, and we need to make decisions that way. And there's a few things that we talked a bit about last week. I've done a significant amount of follow-up on. And the things that give me pause of why I can't support this. First is the number of injuries. We don't seem to have local data on injuries on a turf field versus a grass field. I've heard a lot about divots, and things like that. So I go to national data where there is significant, and worse than reading the motions is me reading through all the science, so I won't do that to you. But injuries, particularly to girls, ACLs, it's so easy to find. But that's the things I look at, and it bothers me. It bothers me as a father. It bothers me as a representative. the carcinogens, and one of our members spoke to this much more eloquently than I can a few moments ago. They're there. Yes, we took crumb out. We don't even know the impact of the new materials are there, but the blades are still there. It's not a natural substance that's on these fields. Kids' faces are in this stuff. It's a problem, and it leaves the field. It gets into our environment, and that's a problem. The idea that I keep hearing, well, there's pesticides on the field, that's a bad thing too. We'll take that on next week. But we can't say, it's so simple, two wrongs make a right. I don't see it as making sense. And finally, the cost, $2.3 million. We're going to go into budget season. And this is going to be some hard conversations. And it's not just the $2.3 million. I talked to two members of the Board of Finance who gave me a rough estimate that was $80,000 to $100,000 a year on interest to pay for this field. I'll start a business. I'll get all the divots out of the field. I'll make sure it's cut. I'll make sure you can play it every day. Give me $100,000 and I'll do it for the next 20 years. That's the problem. This is a new type of field, which is great. We're looking to the future, how we can do this. And the manufacturer of this field says 8 to 11 years. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me bonding something for 20 years. Coming out of business, we wouldn't do this. The auditors wouldn't allow us to do this. You have an item that you're telling the life expectancy based on not how good we take care of it, but the field we've never used before will last 8 to 11 years, and we're going to bond it for 20 years. So for somewhere between 12 and 9 years, we're paying for something that we'll have to either take out or invest significantly to make it usable again. And somebody will be in here, hopefully I won't be here, asking us for more money to do this. The issue of equity, I'm sorry I wasn't here to vote on the other fields. And I don't feel that just because maybe a decision was made that I don't agree with, I wasn't here to be part of that. I can't, in conscience, make a decision that I see as flawed and dangerous to the kids in our school systems. These kids are going to be gone in 3 years. The impact on them, who knows? None of them are going to the NFL. You know, this is big to them right now, but I think we have a responsibility to think about the impact on them long term. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Representative Carroll. Additional, Representative Barron.
Hello, Emma Barron, District 6. Through you, Madam Moderator, I just have a few comments. I appreciate what everybody has said and shared, going off of what Chris said from community members as well as people in the caucus. I've appreciated hearing everybody's perspectives, and I think the one thing that everybody can agree on is that like we're all looking for what is best for youth in Fairfield. For those who possibly don't know me, which is actually probably a lot of people, but my name is Emma Barron. I grew up in Fairfield, so I went to a Child's Garden, I went to McKinley, I went to Tomlinson, and then I went to Ward. And so I just am going to share a little bit about my experience to hopefully give context to my district and why I'm going to be voting in support of the fields. So I played soccer at Ward, and I played on that field, and my district members know that the second this came up last week or 2 weeks ago, I messaged them immediately and was like, thank God. It was my first time hearing about the project as I'm new to this, and I know and remembered immediately how much that field sucked to play on. It was a horrible experience. And, you know, I think when you have a couple of months of a soccer season and sort of like what has been said, it does feel really big when you're in it, but I kind of think that that's the important part of it. High school sports feel really big when you're playing high school sports, and that's for a lot of reasons, and they mean a lot. Clearly, I'm still up here talking about my experience, so it meant something. And so knowing that field and having had that experience, I know that the impact it had on me as a player and when you have games canceled, when you go to other towns or even other parts of town and see different facilities, you notice. And sort of like I said, growing up throughout the Fairfield Public School system, I've definitely experienced something we talk about a lot, which is the feeling and the reality of the difference in equity and opportunity and all of the things from one side of town to the other. I think that it's not that I'm saying, well, if it's all bad, like, let's continue. I don't want our youth to be playing, in something that is potentially harmful. But as somebody who grew up feeling that impact of being less than others and being a side of town that was looked on differently than others, I'm voting in support of this field because it really, I think that people's feelings matter. I think that we can argue about whether something is inequitable or not technically, but that's not the experience that people are having. And as someone who experienced it, I think that what somebody is experiencing and how they feel about it and what they are living in that situation weighs more heavily, especially on me as now a district representative, than maybe who owns what field or anything like that. We've talked a lot about obviously the level of usage of this field. It just can't keep up. Again, I think we all would love to use grass fields everywhere all the time, but it's just not a sustainable reality for this field. From ward sports, town sports, gym classes, it's just not possible. And I also have done a lot of turf research, which was new. And so I see and understand a lot of the perspectives. But I unfortunately also don't feel that I could find enough research regarding the negative impact of this new type of turf to make me feel that I could base a no vote on that as well. So I just wanted to share that experience and explain a little bit about why I'm going to be voting in support of. Thanks.
Thank you, Representative Barron. Representative Georgiadis.
Drew Georgiadis, District 9. I'm going to be voting in support of this. I was on the RTM when we banned the crumb rubber, and there was a lot of information collected at that time, a lot of really healthy discussion. I've lived in this town for 35 years, and I have watched as we build new schools to support our students. Fairfield Ludlow Middle School was lots and lots of grass fields, and they all had to be sacrificed so that we could have a quality learning education for our middle schools. We added our third middle school. And as all of these things move forward, I have 4 boys and they all went to Fairfield Ludlow High School. And the discussion of grass fields is great, but how you define grass is a really fascinating thing, because the grass I saw was mostly dirt. It did not have any grass on it. There was a valiant attempt to make it soft and green and, healthy for ACLs or whatever, but it's really a struggle when team after team after team after team are getting out there. And some of my boys are really good athletes. Some of them tried to be really good athletes, but and they played on Mill Plain, they played on Fairfield Ludlow Middle, they played all around. And when the Fairfield Ludlow turf field went down, there was just a lot of ease. And for that reason, we want our students not to be stressed. We want them to be able to have recess, whatever that means, when you're in high school. And for that reason, this turf field at Ludlow, which I do believe the students at Ward should also be able to experience, needs to be available to them. So I'm going to be voting yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Georgiadis. Representative Ratsky.
Hi, Pierre Ratsky, District 10, through you, Madam Moderator. I don't begrudge anybody their yes vote on this, and I completely understand the reasons. And I thank everybody for their impassioned pleas to equity and their descriptions of what this would mean to the people who play on this new field. I am voting no, and for me, it's quite simple. The materials in this turf are a known carcinogen. More info will come out, and we've all thought about that and what we'll know in 10 years. But what we know now is already very troubling. We know it's a carcinogen. We know that there are studies showing elevated cancer levels associated with the materials in these turf fields. I've seen studies specifically about this kind of turf field showing cancer clusters and showing that people who play on these turf fields afterwards have been shown to have elevated levels of PFAS in their systems. So I don't think there's any dispute that it's a known carcinogen. There's some dispute over whether this new type of field is a lower dose than the crumb rubber. And then we get into the discussion of dose. Every time we have a carcinogen like this, as more information comes out, the dose that's seen as permissible keeps going lower and lower, because with this kind of material, there really is no safe level. Another concern, of course, is if it gets into our water supplies. So not just for the people who are playing on it, but it could leach into the groundwater. And we've seen dozens and dozens of studies of increased incidences of cancer when PFAS is in the water system. So in good conscience, I can't vote yes on this. I don't want to look back in 10 years and think, how could we have approved this? But again, even knowing what we know now, I think there's troubling evidence about the carcinogenicity of this material. Also, just to address the accusation that it's hypocritical, as Representative Carroll said, many of us, including myself, weren't here for the vote on the other turf. I don't think it's hypocritical to say, there's a new construction, we don't want this material there. We're not necessarily putting a motion forward tomorrow to rip out all the existing material. If someone came in and said, hey, here's a proposal for you to say yes or no to, it's going to involve building a new building with asbestos. I would say no to that, and it would not be hypocritical for me to say no to that while not having a motion on the table to rip out all the existing asbestos. So I'm voting no on this. I urge everybody to vote their consciences, and I completely agree with many of the reasons that people said this would be a boon to the Students Award, but I am voting no. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Ratsky. Representative Cook-Littman.
Tara Cook-Littman, District 2. So this is actually hard for me because I'm here as an elected representative and involved in local government because I've dedicated the last 15 years of my life to fighting chemicals in our environment and in our food. That's why I'm here. That's what got me here. But with that said, I am going to be supporting the field today because I believe that the RTM has really two responsibilities. One is to be a final sign-off on budgetary questions and on projects. The other is to put forward policy through our ordinances. We currently have an ordinance in place that has to do with fields, right? We already banned crumb rubber. I actually wasn't here for that vote, but I'm thrilled to know that the RTM did that. And honestly, I'm thrilled that the RTM is having this conversation and that the community is having this conversation about the impact that chemicals are having on our children and our environment. But again, we have a role as an RTM. Our town officials and employees rely on our current policy to move the town forward, to make decisions, to put projects forward. And if we're just going to have these one-off policy votes on projects because we've changed our mind, that to me is really bad government and could actually throw our town into chaos. How can the Board of Education or the town ever count on us to put a project forward? I mean, think about where this could go. I could name a lot of chemical issues that we have in town that we could be working on. The pesticides on the golf courses. Let's stop funding the parks and rec grounds because we don't like the pesticides they're putting on the golf course. Or let's talk about school food. Honestly, It's from government commodities on pesticide-laden fields. Do we want to stop funding school food because we don't like the food? This is not something that we can do through budgetary project votes. That's something that we can do through ordinances. And so I'm actually standing up here to say, bring it on. Let's create some ordinances that will impact the health of our children and protect the environment. But that is not what we're doing here with this vote. We cannot be obstructionist. And to me, that is what we would be doing if we vote down this field. Now, I'll just say really quickly also, we were all just elected. I was just reelected by amazing constituents who are relying on us to represent their interests, not my own agenda. And most of the emails that I got, the majority of the emails we all got, were in favor of this field, not against it. And so it is our responsibility in our vote to reflect what our constituents want, not what we're bringing to the table today because we have this new understanding of the danger of turf fields. So again, this is hard for me because I do believe that organic grass fields are safest for our children and safest for our environment. And if anybody wants to work on an ordinance, I'm in. Let's make it the last turf field in town. Let's create an environmental health caucus that can work on issues like this. But tonight is not the time to do it. It's not fair to our Board of Ed. It's not fair to our kids. And it's not fair to a town that needs to rely on our current policy. So I'll be voting in favor, and I'd really like to encourage all of you to do the same.
Thank you, Representative Cook-Littman. Is there any other members in person before we move to online? Okay, I believe Representative Longo is waiting.
Hi, yes, thank you. Melissa Longo, District 1. As someone who's also a lifelong resident here in Fairfield and having attended ward myself, I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was. I don't want to date myself. I do believe, and I was also a member of the RTM when we did approve the last artificial turf that we put in. I think that Anthony has done a good job of giving us all the information about what is in the turf fields. The rubber, the most dangerous parts of these fields are not, our kids are not going to be touching. I'm a mom of 2. I wouldn't, would not want my kids to be in a situation where it's going to affect their health in a negative way. That being said, I think that this is a safe field, and it's really disheartening to students and athletes, student athletes that play on our town fields and then go to Westport or Darien or, New Canaan, and then they see how well the fields are in those towns. And there's no reason why our students should have to feel like, oh man, we're playing at Ward, the field's terrible, because that's what they say. Talk to any high school kid, and that's what they're going to say. Talk to any middle school child, field hockey. The football teams have to play in a different part of the field when field hockey has their practices. It's unfair to our community. It's unfair to our school students. And, there are we have a lot of great athletes. Sorry, it's my dog in the background. We have a lot of great athletes who are going to utilize these fields, and it's going to make part of their high school experience. And I truly believe that. I also am inclined to agree with Representative Cook-Littman about policy. There are a few things since I've been on the RTM that I don't agree with personally. But when you have so many of your constituents telling you this is what we want, this is what our families want, please represent us, you have to listen. That's why we got elected in the first place. And my personal feeling on something might not match up to what my constituents want, but we have to represent that. And it's not just, this affects the entire town. This affects all of a lot of our children that play here, people that come from other towns to see, how we're managing our town and how different one field looks on one side of town and the other field looks on this side of town. And I absolutely believe because we approved the other turf field that we should approve this one. There's no reason not to. It seems to me very simply This is another project that has been long overdue. Our families deserve it, our students deserve it, and I will be voting in favor. And I really, really hope that that most of us just kind of take a minute and really think about what we're doing on a voting item such as this, because it is very important and it will impact for a long time. And it's worth the investment. I truly believe it's worth the investment. And for the principal of Ward to reach out to all of us as a body to encourage this, to encourage us to vote in favor of this, was very telling to me. So that's all I wanted to say. I will be voting in favor, and I really hope that many others will as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Longo. Any additional members online waiting to speak? Okay, anybody else in person? Representative Wolk, are you getting up to, oh no, okay. All right, seeing no more members waiting to speak, I'm going to open it up to members of the public if you wanted to give public comment. And so each person would have 3 minutes to speak. And I would just ask when you come to the podium, you first start with your name and address.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kim Rasmussen. My address?
Yes, please.
23 Benedict Avenue, Fairfield. I am a PE teacher at Fairfield Ward. I am the head girls soccer coach at Fairfield Ward, and I am the assistant varsity lacrosse coach at Fairfield Ward. I've been at Fairfield Ward for the last 6 years. I completely understand that grass fields are the ideal thing when you're talking about the English Premier League, where they have, irrigation and things that are the most incredible things that we just don't have access to. Same thing with football fields at the professional level. The Fairfield Ward grass fields are not anywhere close to a representation of what a grass field should look like, and that is not on any maintenance or the athletic department. Everybody does the best that they can to make it as good as it can be. But it's just one time that it rains, and my sub-varsity games are canceled. For anyone that doesn't know, if a sub-varsity game gets canceled, it doesn't get made up. The only thing that would get made up is anything at the varsity level. So practices get canceled, sub-varsity games they're done, and there's no rescheduling. 2 years ago, it was when it rained every Monday for 5 weeks in a row. And my sub-varsity team ended up having 5 games for their entire season, which is just, that's really unfortunate. And again, our athletic department did everything that they possibly could to try to make up for it, try to get a game on the turf. But when you have one turf field and all of these teams, especially in the fall, it's just not a possible thing. So I'm here to ask for your support for this turf field. It's really unfortunate because, our soccer team is a very successful soccer team. Our lacrosse is growing and we're getting there. And if we want to be looked at as a team or a program that is a competitive program in the FCAC, which is the best conference in the state of Connecticut in terms of athletics, and you're going to all these other schools that have a varsity game, a JV game, and a freshman game all being played at the same time, all on separate turf fields. And then they come the next year to Ward, where only varsity and JV can be home, and then the freshmen have to be away because we can only have one team on the turf, one team on the grass, and then the other team has to go to the other school. So those are just all things that are just the most important thing for me is the kids and giving the best possible experience that I can. And I think that having a second turf field would increase that tremendously, just from a standpoint of, oh, it rained. Okay, great. We're on turf, so we can still have practice. We can still have this, and all of those things. So thank you for listening, and I hope that everybody can hear what I'm saying, and I have a lot of access to a lot of students who all really, really hope that we are able to get this. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Rasmussen. Any other members of the public?
Paul Cavana, 755 Melville Avenue. My name is Paul Cavana. I have the great privilege of being the principal at Fairfield Ward High School. And I want to start by thanking the superintendent and the Board of Education for their leadership on this project. I'd also be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the Ward graduates and Father of Ward students who spoke tonight. I greatly appreciate the support. This project will be a direct and meaningful improvement on our school facilities, not only for Fairfield Ward High School, but also for the town at large. We have approximately 1,266 students at Fairfield Ward High School, half of which participate in athletics. We have 41 sports, 70 teams, varsity and sub-varsity, and we are the only school in the FCAC with one turf field. Fairfield Ludlow has 3 fields within walking distance. And the comments that were made about the opportunity for our student athletes, high school is very important. High school athletics is very important because it's some athletes, it's the last time they'll be able to be in uniform and play, and that is something that is meaningful to them and their families. This imbalance creates real challenges in practice schedules, early morning and late evening workouts, weather cancellations, and shortened windows of practices. These conditions really hurt the development of our programs and our athletes. And there's a clear academic support as well when students have to practice till 9:30 at night or get up and practice 6:30 in the morning. They also, many of them balance a rigorous academic program. So the current level of demand exceeds what a single turf field can sustain. And as I said before, a second turf field would provide equal access to our students compared to Ludlow and the other FCAC. It would expand our community access and support Fairfield programs, not only at the high school level. So I'm here as a principal, and a very proud principal of Fairfield Ward High School, who really loves the town of Fairfield and the education that it provides to its students, to implore you to vote for this project as have a lasting effect on my school. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cavana. Any other members of the public? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the body for any additional questions or comments. Representative Wolk and then Representative Waldron.
Hey, Walk, District 5, I'll be brief. Just to reiterate what Coach Rasmussen was saying, I was thinking the same thing, that, you know, the grass, first of all, I've been on these grass fields. My son's played on it, my daughter. It really is a mess. But to maintain it and to go back to grass, the expense, like you were saying, is enormous. It's not like the way the Yankees keep their stadium grass or other professional ball players grass in their stadiums. But to maintain it is very, very expensive. So if we're talking about, you know, how much it's going to cost us, the town, to maintain it, it's not feasible. So I'll be voting yes on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Wolk. Representative Waldron. As long as the green light is on, you're good.
Okay, Cindy Waldron, District 3. I want to thank Principal Cavana. That was exactly what we needed to hear. I wish we had heard that at committee from Superintendent Testani and Mr. Michelangelo. It would have really helped us. You put it in very great terms on what is going on realistically, instead of just, we just need this, is what it seemed to sound like last week. So thank you, I appreciate that. I was gonna vote yes without that, only because I know what it's like, having had a daughter who played varsity soccer for 4 years, played at Ludlow, but played at Ward as well. And firsthand, we know what it's like. And going to other schools, as Coach Rasmussen said, many other schools had up to 8 turf fields. So yes, there's a disparity there that it's nice to see it start to level off in our town too. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Waldron. Any other members? Anybody online? I think we're good. Okay, seeing no more, I'm going to ask our town clerk to do a roll call vote.
Peter Britton. Britton, yes. Diffin. Niffin, yes. Longo.
Yes.
Longo, yes. Bissing.
Yes.
Bissing, yes. Cook Littman. Cook Littman, yes. Diamond. Diamond, yes. Larson. Larson, yes. Dodge.
Yes.
Dodge, yes. Fiffick. Fiffick, yes. Hardigan. Hardigan, yes. Waldron. Waldron, yes. Hawhuth. Hawhuth, yes. Carson. Carson, yes. McCabe. McCabe, yes. Zesma. Zesma, yes. Elric. Elric, yes. Garskoff.
Yes.
Garskoff, yes. Pastilli. Pastilli, yes. Wolk. Wolk, yes. Barron. Barron, yes. Blanchard. Blanchard, yes. Druniak. Druniak, yes. Rodriguez. Rodriguez abstains. Barrett's. Barrett's, yes. Galdenzi.
Abstain.
Galdenzi abstains. Kuhn. Kuhn, yes. Nickel. Nickel, yes. Brayman. Brayman, yes. Carroll. Carroll, no. Jacobs.
No.
Jacobs, no. O'Reilly. O'Reilly, yes. Georgiadis. Georgiadis, yes. Havey. Havey, yes. Morgan. Morgan, yes. Wackerman.
Yes.
Wackerman, yes. Ambrose.
No.
Ambrose, no. Horton.
Yes.
Horton, yes. Ratsky. Ratsky, no. Motion passes 32 in favor, 4 no, 2 abstentions.
All right, thank you. And congratulations to the ward community and the town. And for folks who are always wondering what our town clerk was doing, it's so folks who are watching on FairTV can hear the votes, because when you're sitting at the tables, they can't hear. All right, moving on. Item number 11, to hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Board of Finance. Resolved that the bond resolution entitled, "A Resolution Appropriating $913,440 for the cost of parking lot paving projects at Roger Ludlow Middle School and Fairfield Ludlow High School, and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, be and hereby is approved." Do I have a motion to approve? Representative Carson, seconded by Representative Brayman. Is there any discussion on this item? Anyone online? Seeing none, any public comment on this item? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? All right, sounds like that motion carries. Item number 12, to hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Board of Finance. Resolved that the bond resolution entitled, "A Resolution Appropriating $1,451,093 for costs associated with the Fairfield Woods Middle School bathroom renovations project, and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, be and hereby is approved." Do I have a motion to approve? Representative Walk, seconded by Representative Zezima. Is there any discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that motion carries. And we're moving forward here. Item number 13, to hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Board of Finance. Resolved that oh, yes. All right. Representative McCabe has made a motion, seconded by Representative Blanchard. All those this is to waive the reading. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Awesome. Is there a motion to approve item number 13? Representative Blanchard, seconded by Representative Carroll. Any discussion on the DUI grant? All right. Public comment? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries. And item number 14, to hear, consider, and act upon the following. Representative McCabe. All right, seconded by Representative Pistilli. There's a motion on the table to waive the reading. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right. So is there a motion on the table to approve? Representative Blanchard, seconded by Representative Pistilli. Is there discussion? This is to accept the grant for the Click It or Ticket program by the Fairfield Police Department. All right, seeing none, any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that carries. Item number 15, Representative McCabe. All right, seconded by Representative Blanchard. Motion to waive the reading. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Is there a motion to approve item number 15? Representative Blanchard, seconded by Representative Carson. This is for the town to accept the grant for the recycling canopy or the recycling canopy at the Fairfield Transfer Station. Is there any discussion on this item? Any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that carries. Item number 16, to consider and act upon any other matters presented to said meeting in which may be properly acted upon under the rules of the representative town meeting. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Representative Hardigan and seconded by Representative Blanchard. We stand adjourned. Nice job, guys.